Hello, friends. Welcome to yet another episode of Tea Talk with me, Owen Fernandez. I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. So, last Thursday, we celebrated a milestone 50 episodes. Once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today, we, we continue to the episode 51. Today is October 26, 2021, and our topic for today is how to deal with feeling overwhelmed. Imagine this scenario, friends. Early last week, I found my little daughter waiting at the doors of her school with high fever and almost pink in the face. She had to be picked up and brought home. She was also having a little bit of cough. So she must have caught some viral infection somewhere at school. Then, all throughout the week, she had to be on home office at the same time being monitored if she is improving with a period of rest and certain over the counter tablets, or if her condition is deteriorating. Fortunately for us, she had the energy and she decided to go to school online. Now, as the week progressed, I was looking forward to do something for the 50th episode, and I was quite engrossed in a lot of other activities as well. And then suddenly on a Thursday in the evening, I find my wife is also showing certain signs of fever and cough. Mind you, I had a very important proposal to work on all throughout the weekend. And there you find that certain times life gets in the way and you need to change focus. To add fuel to fire, on Sunday morning, I get a message that my mother is again admitted to the intensive care unit in a hospital in India, not Oman, in a serious condition and put on a ventilator. Can you imagine the situation? My wife also needs to see a doctor and cannot go to see a doctor until and unless she gets a COVID free certificate before visiting her normal practitioner. My kids are excited on a Monday morning because there is a Halloween event in their school. So I had to make sure that they get certain costumes, just to be associated with what their friends do in school. My God, too many things. And on a Monday morning, just for your information, my children need to get tested for COVID free certificates before entering the school building. And the temperature was 0 degrees. So we had to stand outside for 45 minutes till we got the clearance to get my kids to school. It almost felt like being in a storm. Can you imagine my state of mind? And this has not happened for the first time. It happens over a period of time. It's just about life. Yes, you guessed it right. I was definitely feeling overwhelmed. Now, by definition, feeling overwhelmed means to be completely submerged by your thoughts and emotions about all of life's current problems. I hope you relate to me. We're living in difficult times. Now, when I'm talking about being overwhelmed, you sometimes come to a point where you simply lack efficiency and you feel frozen and even paralyzed. Can you relate to me? Feeling overwhelmed has become a part of everybody's life, especially in the times that we are living in. We all have felt overwhelmed at one point of time or the other in our lives, whether it is responsibilities, whether it's relationships, whether it is work, personal life. Now, however, dwelling on the feelings of overwhelm and letting them affect us can be detrimental both to our physical as well as our mental health. Now, while I agree we may all feel overwhelmed from time to time in our demanding work and our personal lives, are there any strategies that can help us mitigate the frequency and the extent to which we feel this way? This is the topic that I would like to share. So let's see if there are any simple strategies that we can immediately put into action in order to reduce being overwhelmed at times. So, friends, grab a cup of tea or coffee, take a comfortable seat, and relax as we go deeper into this topic. October 22nd, 2021, episode number 51: How to Deal with Feeling Overwhelmed. Just in case you are on this episode for the very first time, I welcome you. Just to let you know that there is a chat box as well. So let us know from where you are watching this episode from and feel free to interact with me while I'm live on this stream. So let's get into the business straight away. Let me welcome a few friends of mine out here. Okay, I see Adnan Nagrami from Oman. Welcome, Adnan. Nice to see you. And of course, a very loyal friend, Peter Bordaj. He says, Hi, Owen. Wonderful. So, friends, as usual, I would like to start with a quote, and this time it is from Timber Hawkeye. The quote says, You can't calm the storm. Stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. Take a few minutes to read this again, and you can come to know that there are certain things in life that you cannot control, but there are certain things in life that you can control, and it all starts with you. Also, a part of that particular quote says something very profound. It says that the storm will pass, which means to say that if you can control things that are in your control, those things that tend to overwhelm you are not going to last for long. It will pass. Friends, I have this to say: it is we who have to practice the pause and the stop concerning overthinking about things or people around us. We should understand the fact that it is okay, I repeat, it is okay to go through tough situations, and that does not make us any weaker. Friends, it is important to give ourselves grace when we go through such situations in life, and you know that these situations can only make us stronger and better for bigger things to come our way. So, therefore, we should not try to push them off or be hard on ourselves, because you need to know that your mental health and your physical health is important. Bear this in mind: the storm will pass. So, all you need to know is that you need to keep the perspective of the situation and the future in mind. Now, it is a known fact that recent events, along with COVID-19 pandemic, have made life difficult for most of us on the planet. As I said before, COVID-19 has disrupted our lives. It has made certain families desperate. It has even caused death, destruction, and disease, of course. So, in these situations, I do understand that it is hard to juggle between personal responsibilities and, of course, work life and sustenance. So many people have been, without jobs. They have been, their jobs have been terminated, they have been furloughed. So, it is difficult, and I say it's difficult to maintain a work life balance. So, in these circumstances, we all feel overwhelmed at one point of the time or the other. But the trick is to find ways to bounce back, to reset so that we can recover and get back to the things that we should be doing. So, this means that we need to take control of our emotions, we need to be resilient, and we need to be flexible, adaptable, and go deep within ourselves to bring out the creative being that we are all capable of. So, in this episode, let me share with you 8 tips to remember when you are overwhelmed. 8 simple tips to remember when you are overwhelmed. Now, you may ask me the question, oh, when you mentioned about your last week, it was quite challenging and you felt overwhelmed. Did I use these 8 tips? To be very honest, no. Because at that point of time, you feel that you are not in control. But subconsciously, I found out that yes, I did use at least 3 of them, and I'm going to share that with you. The first thing that you need to know in order to bring down the emotions under control in an overwhelming situation is take some time out. Friends, the feeling of overwhelmness is always too taxing. So it is sometimes important for us to take a break from whatever is making us feel anxious or overwhelmed. My youngest daughter having issues with her health, coughing, temperature. She had to attend school as well in order to keep up the pace. Okay, my wife showing signs of sickness, again, temperature, fever, and I'm left alone with my second daughter and tons of work to do. So it is important sometimes to take a break from whatever is making us feel anxious or overwhelmed. So going away from the problem for a little while helps us to relax and come up with better solutions. Now, in my case, I decided to go to the grocery and use certain times out of the situation and focus on something different while purchasing groceries and bringing it home. And on a Sunday morning, I also decided to take my second daughter to church just to take myself out of the situation. You can even go for a walk, a movie, or meet a friend, which can be helpful. Why? Because this helps us to see the vast world out there and gives us a different perspective for our problems. Just a breath of fresh air. What did I do? I went shopping. I bought the necessary things so that the household will have, the necessary groceries in order to make the food and put the food on the table. And of course, I decided to go to church on a Sunday with my daughter, just to take some emotional time out. The second tip that I would like to share is take a deep breath and step away. Now, why do I say this? Because this is the quickest way to alleviate the feelings of anxiety. When life comes at you very strongly, you don't have to fight it all the time. In fact, you might even experience some burnout. I'm talking about those people who constantly feel a sense of overwhelmness in their lives. Deep breathing exercises are a great way of promoting relaxation and also lowers stress levels. Friends, also taking physical time out from the situation that is causing the stress will help you address the problem in a better way. Get busy. Now, what I'm saying, get busy, is that take the opportunity to serve your loved ones rather than making a big show about the problem. Why? I couldn't do anything else, but all I could do is that I could serve my wife, I could serve my daughter. Or just take a full 120 seconds to breathe in and out very deeply. Try it 6 or 7 times. By the end, everything will seem a little bit better. Friends, we need to know the art of breathing. Most of us just take in air, but when you know how to breathe, when you know the way breathing helps you to calm down your nerves, it is extremely soothing. Now, as I said, my daughters were expecting to get some costumes for the Halloween day on a Monday. I decided to do that myself. It took a bit of my anxiety away. I was told what to purchase, I was told what exactly they needed, and then, of course, before buying, I took some pictures and showed them if this is what they want, and they were happy. Yes, it takes a bit of anxiety away when you take deep breaths or just simply step away from the situation, always being responsible and being available just in case if that particular challenge turns out into an urgency. Also, when the situation in the house was getting a little bit better, I also decided to listen to certain videos from a learning course from Udemy that I had yet to finish. And when I thought about all the things that the lead teacher was talking about and the things that I could learn, in fact, it calmed me down. It took me away from the situation, though I was physically present, just in case to attend and serve them. Take a deep breath and step away. Peter Bodas says, "Do not be bothered by things out of your control for your own well being." It's very true. Sometimes we make life too complicated, and the power lies in simplicity. I also I also see a good friend of mine from India, Pratik Vyas. Welcome, Pratik. So take an emotional time out. Try to take deep breaths in order to calm down the stress levels, and if possible, distract yourself positively by doing something that would take the anxiety out of the situation. Now, friends, also learn to create a no list. Now, what do I mean by that? Friends, it is important to take something off our plate and focus on one thing at a time. Now, when people get overwhelmed, the normal tendency is that they think that time is short and they try to juggle different balls. We have said it in the past that multitasking has got its own set of problems. And also remember one thing: the human brain is created in such a way that it can focus well only at one thing at a time. So create a no list, make priorities there. So it is important to protect our time and space, as this gives us a sense of control over our own schedule and over our own responses. So sometimes when you're in a space of being overwhelmed, we try to do many things at the same time, and in fact it's counterproductive. It acts against us. So prioritize, learn to say no to certain things just in case if that particular thing is causing you stress. So I decided to say no to certain aspects of not doing the proposal that I had intended originally in mind. But then later on, I will also share the fact that I was able to do everything later on at the end of the day as the weekend slowly subsided and the new week came up. So I'm going to share with you that while we are getting overwhelmed, we need to know that that storm, that situation that creates and causes stress and overwhelmness will pass. It's not going to remain for a very long time. So learn to create a no list to actually feel that you are capable of being in control of the situation. Tip number 4 is remember that these emotions are natural. Friends, when many things come up at the same time, don't try to be a superhero. These are all aspects of living. Understand that. And these emotions that we bring out are natural. Feeling overwhelmed is therefore a natural response to having too many things going on at once. So it's our mind's way of telling us that we need to slow down, bring down the pace if we want to live a healthier life. You cannot perpetually be overwhelmed. You cannot perpetually be in a state of stress. Know for sure that there will be emotions. And if you break up the word emotions, it is actually energy in motion and it looks out for ways to come out. It has to be expressed. You can't just choke yourself there. So when you are overwhelmed, know that it is natural. Know that you're going to respond. But how are you going to respond is totally a matter of your choice. Whether you are in control of the situation or you simply react. And by the way, reaction is at the lowest level of human awareness. Remember that these emotions are natural. Tip number 5 that I would like to share is again, remember that it is just a breakdown of thoughts and not life. So when we feel overwhelmed, our life is not falling apart. As I said, the storm will pass away. It is just our thoughts at the moment focusing on something that creates anxiety and stress. If you have read the book As a Man Thinketh from James Allen, you would remember this quote: as he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains. So while we all know the first part of that profound statement, that profound quote of James Allen, as he thinks, so he is. But what about the latter part? As he continues to think, so he remains. Friends, we have the power to manage our thoughts and thus, as a result, manage who we are and who we will grow to be. You don't need to react all the time. Life is not going to be urgent and important every time. If that is the case, believe me, you would be stressed out and you would be burnt out, and maybe any one of these diseases like heart attack or hypertension or a brain stroke are going to be attracted by you towards you. So take charge of your thoughts. It also means to say that you have got to involve giving importance, a high priority to your mental and physical health. We need to take time to find and clean out all your self depreciating negative emotions and thoughts. Now, case in point, my daughter getting sick, my wife falling sick. Now, you may say, what about immunity and all that stuff? I do understand. But could I have stopped any of these things? No. And then adding the fact that my mother, once again, being admitted for the fourth time in a month to the intensive care unit because of having lung issues, breathing issues, and on a ventilator this time. So I went on a negative spiral at least for a few moments. Why is this happening? Why me? The pity party was triggered to some extent, but I took courage and I changed my focus, saying that can I do anything being a continent away from my mother? No. I've got loved ones here in the home. So let me serve them. Let me take care of them. Let me make myself busy. And when they are okay, I can concentrate on the proposal that was waiting for me to be completed on a Monday morning. Remember, it's just a breakdown of thoughts and not life. So don't make a mountain of a molehill. Vijay Pandey, welcome. A very good friend of mine, originally from India but now based in Lyon. Oh, I love this guy, and I love the way he sometimes mentors me in the area of psychometrics, and he is a big guru. He says breathing is a powerful tool. And friends, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've decided to pay more importance to the way I breathe. Breathing happens naturally to almost all of us. Why? Because we need that to sustain and survive. But then, when you actually pay attention to the way you are breathing, and if you actually do the breathing the way it is supposed to be, you will find out that your mind automatically relaxes, and there is a sense of there's a sense of peacefulness that comes over you. So, if you are not breathing the way breathing has to be done, try this and let me know. So, tip number 6 is, if you have tried all these things and you are still feeling overwhelmed, speak to a friend or a loved one. Reach out. And friends, this is what I have got to say: you're not alone. And just in case if you feel alone, it's just a feeling. There are people who are ready to help you out in times of need. Yes, we have not lost humanity. It's absolutely okay to ask for help. Speak to a friend or a loved one. Reaching out to a friend for a virtual chat or talking to a family member on a call will help you vent your anxieties and negative emotions. So, over this weekend, especially towards the end of the week, I decided to give a call to my brother. I asked him, how is the situation with mom? I asked him, could he give me a picture of how she looks and where is the hospital and what exactly? How does he see the situation? Did he speak to the doctor? What is the doctor saying? And when he gave me certain information, suddenly my nerves calmed down. On the other hand, I called a friend of mine who I met before. In fact, he was my past student, and I remember meeting him on a benzene station, on a fuel station, and he did mention that he is working in a center where they do COVID tests for emergencies and urgencies. So I sent him a message only to get positive news saying that, hey, Owen, listen, on Monday morning I'll find it out, and then you can come with your wife and we can get this done for you. There are people who are ready to help you in a time of need. A good chat or a good call is all we need to feel better about ourselves and about the situation. Speak to a friend or a loved one. And just in case, if we happen to know each other and if you do not have anyone, I raise my hand up to serve you. Number 7, sometimes you need a little bit of physical activity to keep yourself focused on something and take away your focus from the thing that stresses you. Clean things up. Friends, this is what I know. Clearing your living room and working spaces has a profound calming effect. When you have 2 kids and there is so many things scattered all over the place, it's a great opportunity to reduce your stress levels, your anxiety, and take off from a feeling of overwhelmness. So take a few minutes to straighten up something that is bothering you, especially in the space that you live. And suddenly you might see things in a whole new light. When there is too much of clutter outside, within your home, inside your mind, try to take them off one by one. It does help. It does help. And finally, tip number 8 is write it down. Now, what do I mean by writing down? Friends, sometimes things become more manageable just by writing them down. What I mean by that is write down your feelings, why you feel overwhelmed. Having a written stream of consciousness allows us to express ourselves freely. It's a way of venting out, it's a way of expressing the things that you feel with them. And suddenly, when you get those thoughts out of your head, out of your mind, onto a piece of paper, you will feel relieved. So, after having a chat with my brother, after having a chat with my friend concerning the COVID test that I needed to do for my wife the next day in the morning, after seeing, okay, that I came back from church, I prayed. Slowly and steadily, the atmosphere in the house started improving. And then my wife allowed me to work and gave enough space for me to complete the proposal that I had in mind. And you and I know that I was all okay, even in the midst of this overwhelming situation last week that took place, on coming up on episode number 50 and still celebrating with you. The storm will pass. So, in summarizing, as I complete this episode, take a note of this. Feel free to take an emotional time out. Take deep breaths and step away, at least for a little while. Learn to create a no list and keep yourself away from multitasking and juggling many balls at the same time. Remember that these emotions are natural and let it be expressed. Of course, it's just the breakdown of thoughts that you are experiencing at that point of time, and not just life. Speak to a friend or a loved one, and just in case if you don't have one, let me come alongside you and be your friend. Clean things up in the place where you live, or clean things up in your mind. Put away the clutter, the noise, and if possible, write down your feelings, write down your emotions, actually to find out what stresses you at a later point of time. So, friends, as I close this episode, I would like to share a quote from Wendy Tomlinson. She says, "In a busy and overwhelming world, let's do simplicity." Read that again. In a busy and overwhelming world, let's do simplicity. Now, when I say simplicity, is learn to understand that that particular time too shall pass. All you've got to do is control what you can and focus on yourself. Why? Because you are important. Friends, you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. So, when confronted with being overwhelmed next time, knowing that it is difficult to think and act rationally and even function in a normal way, look at the things that you can control and just be resilient, knowing that the situation is not going to be there for a very long time. Needless to say, the experience of this feeling is indeed uncomfortable, and the causes and effects can span across your personal and professional life. Yes, I do agree. But at the end of it all, we are all the experiences that we create in order to make our lives interesting. So instead of going down the spiral of saying, why me, why me, why me, be strong so that you can come out strong. Now, friends, before I leave, I do understand that while there is no way to determine what life has in store at any given moment, trust me that there are ways to build up mental strength, to become better, and take on life's challenges and build resiliency. Even though we are struggling and we are still fighting COVID, but we know in some areas we are doing well. In some areas we are getting success. In some areas we are overpowered and we are not at a standstill anymore. I see flights taking off. I see people, of course, in small numbers working from home and coming to the office as well. I see stores being opened in many places. Trust me, this has nothing to do with how smart we are, but with how we make sense of the world and how we operate in it, knowing that these things are going to come our way. So, friends, when you take time to learn what triggers stress and anxious thoughts, it is then that you can better manage these overwhelming experiences and sometimes anticipate it and be ready even before they occur. So, with the right tools and hard work, you can help minimize the occurrence and therefore the impact of overwhelmness. So, take time Make yourself a priority once in a while. Let me tell you that it's not selfish, it's necessary. Because if you cannot take control of yourself, how can you take control of somebody else in a difficult situation? Friends, thanks for watching. You will find references of what have been shared at the end of this talk. Feel free to use them further for your personal growth. Thank you, Peter Bodach. Peter Bodach says it shall pass. You just have to have faith and do not think about the worst possible outcome, no matter the situation. Absolutely correct. I concur with Peter. It is your thoughts that you've got to control yourself. I also see a very good friend of mine, Nandini from Malaysia. She says, yes, cleaning our space is important. Wonderful. Thank you, Nandini, for showing. Vijay Pandey says, I have two kids and I can relate to this very well. Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you so much. Oh, I see Vinny come up. Vinny was saying that I was hoping to get you at the beginning, but I will see the replay. Thank you so much. Friends, once again, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, please comment and share. Also, you could go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. There you will find all the 50 episodes that we have gone through, all there on the YouTube channel. And if you have liked some, please press the like button and subscribe. And just in case if you feel that somebody else would be benefited by watching these videos, please share it with them. Remember, the win is always within you. I am here, Owen Fernandez, to help you to be victorious. I believe in you, and together we can. So stay safe, don't be overwhelmed. This too shall pass, and see you on the next episode of Tea Time with Owen. Bye for now.